faced problem in getting up early. It was almost every other day that she would miss her school bus and was late for school. Since she missed school several times, she was often punished by her class teacher. Further, when in the class, she looked tired all the time. None of the teachers liked her because of her laziness. While her friends were out playing, she preferred sitting lazily in the class with her head on the desk. Her lack of sleep reflected in her grades as well, as they started dropping. Gradually, even her family started disliking her and was fed up by her. Some of her cousins had started taunting her that she was a big loser. As time passed, the comments and taunts started irritating Grace. One day, she was in the park, feeling upset for being looked down by so many people. An old woman who was taking her evening walk saw lonely and upset Grace. The woman sat beside Grace and introduced herself. "Why are you so sad, girl?" asked the old woman. Hearing this, Grace started crying and told everything her. Grace admitted that she wanted to be nice and energetic like other girls, but it just wasn't in her control. "Hold on, child," comforted the old woman. "It is all under your control." "But how?" asked Grace. "Now listen to me carefully. The first thing you need to do is develop willpower," said the old woman. Grace listened carefully as the old woman continued. "You need to remind yourself that you have to get up early every morning, whether it is a weekend or a weekday. And for this, you need to go to bed early. There is plenty of time during the day to enjoy music or watch movies, but sleeping early is more important. Set an alarm clock to wake you up early. If that doesn't help, ask your mother to pull you out of the bed. Once awake, wash your face and start your day with something fun and energetic, like going for a morning jog." Grace understood what the old lady was trying to say. She thanked the old lady and went home. That night was the first night when Grace slept early, and the next morning she felt amazing and refreshing. For Grace, there was just no looking back after that. Further, her friends and family started admiring her for her willpower. Lila and Anna were cousins. They lived in the same house and went to the same school. Lila was a very popular girl. She was beautiful, chirpy, and fun to be around. On the other hand, Anna was a quiet fellow. She was always conscious about how other girls and boys saw her. She disliked the fact that her skin wasn't very healthy and she had zits all over her face. As time passed by, Anna started developing low self-esteem. Every time there was a get-together at her place, everyone would praise Laila for her beautiful skin, while Anna was looked upon as an ugly duckling. As time passed by, Anna started getting depressed and frustrated. She was being constantly compared with her cousin. She often wondered what was Laila's secret that made her skin look so beautiful. One day, she saw Laila buy a skin cream from the chemist. Immediately after she left, she went to the chemist and bought the same cream. Happy to find Laila's secret, she went home and rubbed the cream on her face several times. With a thick greasy layer of the cream on her face, she went to bed. That night, she dreamt of waking up with flawless skin that would attract everyone's attention. Next morning, when she woke up, she went straight to her mom. "What happened to your face?" yelled Mom. "Isn't it beautiful now?" giggled Anna. "Oh God!" cried Mom. "Go wash your face now, and don't worry, it will go away." Anna couldn't understand why Mom asked her to wash her face. She didn't want the charm the cream had left on face to vanish anyway. Nonetheless, she went to the bathroom to wash her face. "Oh my God! What have I done?" she cried the moment she saw the mirror. Her face was all red and full of ugly zits due to the cream. Seeing her face, she sat on the bathroom floor and started crying. "What happened?" asked Laila when she entered the bathroom. "Why are you crying?" Anna told her that she used the same cream that Laila bought from the chemist, but it spoiled her face. "You did that to me on purpose, I know." Anna blamed Laila. "You don't want me to look beautiful. That is why you misled me into buying that cream." "Relax," said Laila patiently. "It is nothing like the way you think. All you need to do is take care of your skin. If you wanted flawless skin, you should have talked with me or your mom. Following others blindly doesn't help." "But what should I do now?" asked Anna. "Don't worry," comforted Laila. "It will go away. You just have to follow few things. Look, skin is the most important and sensitive part of our body. It becomes ugly when we don't take proper care of it. Always remember to wash your face at least thrice daily. In the morning, after you wake up, after coming back from school, and before you go to bed at night. Consult a doctor or a professional and use the right cleanser for your skin type. Girls at our age don't do makeup. But still, if you wore a little makeup, make sure that you remove it before going to bed. And what about the creams they advertise on the television? Asked Anna. Are those? Remarked Laila. You should moisturize your skin, but don't overdo it. Again, choose a moisturizer according to your skin type. I have dry skin, while you have oily. The moisturizers we use will be obviously different. Remember, when you go out in the sun, apply sunscreen all over your body. Also, take care of your diet. It is very important. Drink lots of water and eat fresh fruits and vegetables. They are very good for the skin. And for these zits, don't pick them or else they will leave scars. It seems like taking care of skin is a big task, remarked Anna. It is, said Laila. But once you develop a routine, it becomes easy. And it is also worth the effort. Anna followed Laila's instructions. Within a fortnight, she started seeing her skin improving. She realized that all this while it was in her hands to make her skin look good. Nonetheless, it didn't take long for that ugly duckling to change into a beautiful swan. Ayan was a lovely boy. He liked making friends. However, often he would ignore his desires to make others happy. Ayan was always torn between things he wanted to do and things people around him expected to do. For example, once Ayan went shopping with his mother. He wanted to buy shorts, but his mother liked him in trousers better. So, Ayan went for the trousers. On another occasion, Ayan went camping with his cousin. His cousin wanted to play cricket, but Ayan wanted to click pictures. To please him, he had to put aside his camera and spend the day playing cricket with him. Doing what others wanted him to do had become Ayan's habit. Gradually, he started losing interest in everything. One day, his grandpa brought Ayan a multicolored sweater that his grandma had woven especially for him. It had several colors and Ayan really liked it. After dinner, while everyone was together in the living room, Grandpa showed the sweater to everyone and asked everyone to point out a flaw in it. Everyone had a different opinion about it. Mom said, "I didn't like the red color in it." Dad said, "It would have been better if brown wasn't in it." Cousin Sarha remarked, "Ah, I hate the triangles in it." Finally, Ayan's brother said, "The yellow pattern looks awful." "Great," said Grandpa. "So now we can improve the sweater according to everyone's choice." Grandpa asked Aeon to bring a scissors, and everyone sat down to watch attentively what he was about to do. Grandpa cut a small knot in the sweater and started his job. "Mom doesn't like the red color," said Grandpa, and pulled out all the red strings in the sweater. Next, he pulled out all the brown strings in the sweater, as Dad didn't like the color brown. Mom tried to stop Grandpa, but he insisted to let him do what he was doing. Then he took the scissors and cut down all the triangles in the sweater, as Sarah didn't like them. Finally, he cut the yellow pattern in the sweater to please Aeon's brother. All that was left was torn, loose bundle of threads that made no sense. Grandpa took this bundle and gave it to Aeon. "There you are, my son," he said with a smile. "How do you like it now?" Everyone was amazed to see this. Aeon looked at Grandpa and said, "But this is not a sweater anymore. It is useless." "Yes, my boy," replied Grandpa. "But this is what you are. All the colors and patterns that were there kept the sweater intact. This is how your special self is. Whenever you repeatedly sacrifice your wishes and desires for others to make them happy, you pull out a special thread or cut a special pattern. If you keep ignoring yourself, you will be like this bundle of unrelated threads that make no sense." "But people expect things from me," said Aeon. "There will always be people who will expect a lot of things from you," said Grandpa. "But it is up to you to set priorities for your needs. If you won't pay attention to your needs, nobody will." Aeon understood the lesson behind Grandpa's sweater. He gathered what was left on the sweater and placed it in his cupboard. He promised to himself that from that day on, he won't let anyone decide for himself. That was the only way to take care of his special self. Eric was a sweet little boy. Everybody admired his chubby cheeks and fair complexion. Eric was too proud of his fair complexion. To be honest, at times he would even skip a bath. And when Mommy questioned him, he would simply say, "I am so fair and good looking that no one would believe you that I hadn't taken a shower." Poor Mommy could only yell at him to go back and take a shower. And when Eric did take a shower, he would simply throw water all over his body. It was hardly ever that he cleaned himself well. One day, while Eric was forced to take a bath, he heard someone yell, "You better clean me well today, or I will make your life hell." Eric looked around, but he was alone in the bathroom. So he carried on. As usual, he quickly brushed his teeth sprinkled a mug full of water over himself, and was about to reach out for the towel when he heard the voice again. "You forgot to clean me," someone said. "Wait, you have to clean me as well," a second voice demanded. Eric looked around, but there was just no one else in the bathroom. Suddenly, his eyes fell on the bathroom mirror. His eyes and ears had developed funny faces, and they were looking at him angrily. "Clean us now," his eyes and ears shouted angrily, "or else you will regret it." "Oh yeah?" scorned Eric. "I won't clean you. You can do whatever you want." Eric came out of the bathroom, got dressed, and rushed towards the living room. It was Sunday, so everyone was at home. Eric sat on the dining table and asked Mom to give him breakfast. While Mom was in the kitchen, Eric asked Dad whether they could go for a movie later that day. Dad answered with a smile and then went to the other room. Eric couldn't understand what Dad had said, but assumed that he had agreed. He waited and waited for the breakfast, but it never came to the table. After about 10 minutes, Eric rushed into the kitchen angrily and asked Mom about the breakfast. Mom kept saying something, but Eric couldn't understand what she was saying. All he could hear was some rumbling and rustling voice that just didn't make any sense. Mom pointed towards the table, but now all Eric could see was a big pile of grit and mucus like the one that forms in the corner of the eyes. Suddenly, Eric realized what was going on. He had refused to clean his eyes and ears, and now they were taking revenge. Quickly, he went to the bathroom. Grit, mucus, and earwax followed him, and within seconds, they started eating him. Eric started yelling and woke up. It was a nightmare. However, from then on, he started keeping his ears and eyes clean. Every morning, he would bath properly with soap and water. To keep his eyes clean, he would clean with a moist towel any grit or mucus in them. Eric not only started washing his eyes with water twice a day, but also started taking good care of his ears. He regularly cleaned earwax with a bud. And not just earwax, he daily cleaned both the outside and the back of the ear with a moist cloth. Indeed, his eyes and ears never complained since that day.